Have you ever witnessed a sports moment that made your heart ache with sadness or brought tears to your eyes? Perhaps it was a stunning defeat, snatched from the jaws of victory, or a career-ending injury that ended a player's dreams. In this video, we'll be exploring some of the most heart-wrenching moments in sports history, from heartbreak to tragedy, and everything in between. What were these moments, and how did they impact the athletes, the fans, and the world of sports? Join us as we take a closer look. Number 1. Leicester City's owner dies in a helicopter crash. October 27, 2018 was indeed a sad day in the sporting world, and a day that made Leicester City Football Club and some football fans break down in tears. Major news channels carried the news of the sudden death of Leicester City Club's owner Vijay Srivaddhanaprabha. He was reported to be involved in a helicopter crash outside the King Power Stadium in Leicester, England. The helicopter, which had just taken off from the stadium's pitch, crashed in the parking lot and burst into flames shortly after takeoff. Vijay was among the 5 people on board, and all of them died in the crash. The helicopter crash was met with an outpouring of grief and sadness from the footballing community, with players, coaches, and fans paying tribute to Vijay and the other victims. But everything was fine before the crash, and his colleagues could remember seeing him smile before taking off. The crash was characterized by a lot of mysteries and definitely raised a lot of questions. Was the helicopter faulty? Was the engine tampered with? There was a lot of public and in-house investigations surrounding it. But for the families and loved ones of the victims, the incident is evidence of the fragility of life. Number 2. The death of Kobe Bryant. If you have been following the game of NBA for the past 10 years, then you must have had some fun watching the Lakers legend Kobe Bryant. Till his final professional game on April 13, 2016, he was a sensation and a very big part of the team. During his last professional match, Kobe still showed some class by scoring an incredible 60 points in his team's 101-96 victory over Utah Jazz. But when most of us thought he was going to make the most of his retirement, the big screen had different news. Kobe Bryant was announced dead on January 26, 2020. Kobe Bryant's death was a kind of father-daughter moment that went wrong. He died in a horrific helicopter crash along with his 13-year-old daughter and 7 others. What didn't just sit well for most of us was the fact that the helicopter was a Sikorsky S-76B, the same model Bryant had flown on before. So what really happened? Well, an ongoing investigation states that the pilot attempted to climb above the clouds before crashing into a mountainous terrain. Also, the helicopter lacked a black box and a terrain awareness and warning system, so the pilot never knew what was coming for them. But as they say, you can't fly blind and expect to avoid obstacles. The news of Bryant's death quickly made the headlines. It was not only a loss to the basketball community, but to society as a whole. He was known for his work ethic, determination, and drive, and had become a symbol of inspiration and success for many. In the wake of Bryant's death, there was an outpouring of grief and mourning, with thousands of fans gathering outside the Staples Center in Los Angeles to pay their respects. The NBA also honored Bryant with a series of tributes and memorials, including a special All-Star Game format that was dedicated to his memory. Despite the tragedy of his death, Bryant's legacy continued to live on. He remains one of the most influential and beloved figures in the history of sports, and his impact on the game of basketball will be felt for generations to come. Number 3. The tragic death of Davide Astori. On March 4, 2018, Fiorentina travelled away to play a domestic league match that had to be postponed following the news about the sudden death of Davide Astori. Astori was found dead in his hotel room in Udine, where his team was set to play a match against the Udinese. Instead, it was a competition of tears in the locker room as the news sent shockwaves amongst his teammates. The cause of Astori's death was later confirmed to be due to cardiac arrest, caused by a cardiac condition known as cardiomyopathy. Just 31 years old, Astori was a tragic loss for his family, friends, teammates and fans. So Astori is really gone? That was a question that nature gave a sad answer to. The football world mourned the loss of Astori, with many clubs, players and fans paying tribute to him in various ways. The match had to be postponed out of respect for the dead, and Fiorentina retired his number 13 jersey in his honour. Number 4. Messi and Argentina's broken World Cup curse. Lionel Messi is widely regarded as one of the greatest footballers of all time, but despite his many achievements, he rarely struggled to stamp his name on the Argentine national team. Messi had come agonizingly close to winning the World Cup on several occasions, to see his dreams dashed at the last hurdle, and the World Cup was what he needed to reach the peak of football. Messi's first chance at World Cup glory came in 2014, when Argentina reached the final of the tournament held in Brazil. Messi was instrumental in getting the team to the final, scoring 4 goals in the group stage and setting up several others. However, in the final against Germany, Messi was unable to make an impact, and Argentina ultimately lost the match 1-0 in extra time. Even while presented with a silver medal, Messi and his teammates could not hide their bitterness, and it was beginning to look like their tears were going to wet the stadium's grass. But all hope was not lost, or so they thought. 2018 presented another golden opportunity at the World Cup title for Argentina and the star player Lionel Messi. But this time, the heartbreak even came sooner than expected. Argentina, a team that was blessed with stars like Di Maria, Aguero, Higuain, Otamendi, and Dybala, cried home after a 4-3 loss to France in the round of 16. To make things worse for the players, they were threatened by their home fans, and the street was seen burning the iconic number 10 jersey. But even when everybody thought that all hope was lost for Messi and Argentina with the World Cup title, the little genius still had some hope. In Qatar 2022, the story almost looked the same. Argentina lost their first match to Saudi Arabia, and opposition fans couldn't help but rub it in on Messi. But Lionel went on to promise his fans that he was going to bring home the trophy. And after some miraculous comebacks and mind-blowing performances, Argentina was at the finals against their 2018 nightmare, France. The game was a tough one. In fact, regarded as one of the toughest World Cup finals in football history, thanks to Emiliano Martinez's dive-minute save, which took the game to penalties. Argentina was finally able to take home a trophy after a crazy display of dedication by both France and Argentina players. A huge part of the crowd was filled with tears of joy, complemented by Peter Drury's commentary saying, "Lionel Messi has conquered his final peak. Lionel Messi has shaken hands with paradise. The little boy from Rosario Santa Fe has just pitched up in heaven." The commentary made fans that were watching on TV burst into tears for the little man who was seen laughing genuinely on the floor. Messi's teammates ran to him and celebrated him as if he was a trophy. Tears were dropped and hearts were melted. Messi and his teammates broke the 36-year curse. Number 5. The death of Maradona. The news about the death of Diego Maradona in November 2020 created a sad moment in locker rooms and in the football community. Maradona was one of the greatest footballers of all time. Even after he retired from professional football, he still contributed to the success of many footballers. His death also sparked controversy, with some fans and pundits questioning the circumstances surrounding his medical care in the weeks leading up to his death. Following his death, Lionel Messi paid tribute to him during a match between his club team Barcelona and Osasuna, after scoring a goal, which was a replica of one of Maradona's goals during his time as a footballer. Messi took off his Barcelona jersey to reveal a Newell's Old Boy jersey with Maradona's name and number on the back. The picture of this celebration still haunts the internet to date. The spread praise from fans and the footballing community, who admired Messi's gesture of respect towards Maradona. His funeral was filled with a lot of stars and flowers. Goodbye, Diego.